My family is clearly the wealthiest in New York, but even for an $8 takeout order, I still click refund only. The habit came from my previous life. Back then, our housekeeper, Sarah Mitchell's daughter, Charlotte Barnes, had tied herself to a strange transaction system. Every dollar I spent flowed directly into her hands. Charlotte used that to her advantage. She guilt-tripped me into donating to struggling students at school, painting it as charity work I couldn't refuse. Believing I was doing something noble, I handed over a check for $2 million without blinking. But the system twisted it. My check showed zero, while Charlotte received the full deposit. From then on, everyone branded me a fraud. Even the man I was keeping abandoned me in disgust. Charlotte, on the other hand, paraded around making donations with the fortune she'd siphoned away, and the world applauded her as a generous, golden-hearted angel. Worse, she smeared my name by spreading rumors that I wasn't even a Barnes, but the daughter of our housekeeper. Enraged, I swiped my black card on a reckless shopping spree to prove I still had money, only to watch the balance vanish instantly. Then Charlotte mocked me publicly, transferring $8 million in front of everyone and sneering, "You're penniless, but still pretending to be rich. Do you think your mother's wages as our housekeeper can really fund this act?" The backlash online was brutal. I collapsed under the insults and pressure, my health crumbling until I died before my father, Marcus Barnes, even had a chance to rescue me. When my eyes opened again, I was back in that classroom on the very day Charlotte had cornered me into donating to the underprivileged students. "Emma, stop pretending," one girl jeered. "You're just a servant's daughter, and yet you act like some wealthy lady making donations." Another added sharply, "If Charlotte hadn't stepped in and paid the $2 million today, you'd already be in jail for fraud. You'd better apologize to her before we drag you to the police station ourselves." Their voices closed in around me, harsh and accusing. Shoves from every side jolted me back into reality. I looked at the angry faces surrounding me and finally understood I had truly been reborn. Just as before, the check I'd written out for $2 million had turned into a worthless slip of paper. And just as before, Charlotte swooped in with the exact same amount, presenting herself as a saint while calling me an imposter. Feigning kindness, she stepped forward with a dramatic sigh. "Emma, I overlooked it when you stole my designer dresses and limited edition handbags, but now you dare commit donation fraud. You should admit your mistake and apologize. Otherwise, I won't be able to defend you anymore." I could see the calculation in her eyes. She wanted me to lash out. In my first life, I had fallen for it. Furious, I had pulled out my black card, promising the students they could spend freely and I would cover it all. But the moment they swiped it, the machine beeped coldly, "Insufficient funds. Please try again." Charlotte had then stepped up, transferring over $10 million in a show of wealth, instantly transforming herself into the kind-hearted rich girl, while I became the fraud everyone despised. As if on cue, my boyfriend Tyler Davis stormed in this time as well. Dressed head to toe in luxury brands, a $1 million watch glinting on his wrist, he jabbed a finger at me. "Emma, I thought you were actually rich," he spat. "Turns out you're just a phony clinging to me. If you hadn't thrown yourself at me this Christmas, I'd never have tolerated you. We're done." The truth was Tyler had been the one begging to stay by my side, dazzled by the life I led. If he hadn't been handsome, I wouldn't have bothered with him. Now though, he kicked me in the chest like I was dirt under his shoes while the crowd cheered his escape. I had been giving him $1 million a month in spending money. Yet somehow that counted as his suffering. Before I could speak, Charlotte's eyes filled with tears. She slapped me hard across the face, crying, "Emma, you still won't admit it. You're nothing more than my family's housekeeper's daughter. I was willing to forgive you for the sake of the past. But why won't you say sorry?" My cheeks stung, but I forced myself upright, teeth clenched. "You want an admission?" I said icily. "Fine, I'll admit it. I am the housekeeper's daughter and I pretended to be Charlotte Barnes. I was wrong. So, Miss Barnes, please don't hold a grudge against someone as lowly as me." The room went silent. No one had expected me to admit defeat so quickly. Before Charlotte could come up with more accusations, I turned on my heel and walked away, refusing to give her another chance to smear me. Once I was alone, I pulled out my phone and opened several shopping and food delivery apps, launching into a wild spending spree. To Charlotte, my calmness looked suspicious, as if I were scheming. But when she noticed her balance steadily climbing, she practically glowed with satisfaction. She sent me a message, "Emma, everyone says you need to apologize properly. Buy another 100 cups of coffee and send them over." I curled my lips into a cold smile and typed back, "Fine." I placed the order for 100 coffees, but the moment they arrived, I immediately applied for a refund only, citing food safety concerns. Not just that order, every single thing I'd bought that day, I requested refunds for. In no time, the hundreds of thousands of dollars I had spent flowed back into my account. But when I refreshed the app, I noticed something strange. All those refunds were listed under Charlotte's name. That was when I realized the truth of the system. Any money I spent was funneled to her. But once I canceled purchases, the records of income became hers as well, conveniently explaining her sudden wealth. My pulse quickened with excitement. At last, Charlotte would choke on the very trap she had set for me. Without hesitation, I went on a $3 million shopping rampage. Clothes, handbags, jewelry, snacks, underwear, even sanitary pads, nothing was too small. Then I escalated, snapping up haute couture gowns and even a foreclosed suburban house at auction. And after each purchase, I filed for a refund only, returning every single item down to an $8 takeout order. Even with the thrill of watching the system twist against her, an unease lingered in my chest. Remembering how rapidly my body had failed in my past life, I decided to head back to the family villa for the weekend. The moment I stepped inside, I froze. Charlotte and Tyler were throwing a party right in our living room, surrounded by laughing classmates. When they spotted me, the laughter soured. Their gazes were filled with open contempt. "Emma, you're back," Charlotte greeted smoothly, dressed in a designer gown, a glass of 1992 Chateau Lafite in her hand. She glided toward me like she owned the place. "Today's Tyler's birthday," she explained sweetly. "He really wanted to celebrate here, so I brought everyone over. We've already finished the wine in the cellar. Hurry and order a few hundred more bottles." For a moment, I just stared at her. Good clothes truly changed a person. With the millions she had leached from me, Charlotte had remade herself into a flawless socialite. It was hard to believe this was the same girl who once followed her mother into our home as a servant, her coat patched and fraying. I couldn't help but wonder what trick she had used to shackle me to this cursed transaction system. But when I didn't answer right away, her mask slipped and her voice sharpened. "What are you standing there for? Hurry up. This party is for Tyler. And if you ruin it, can you bear the consequences? And don't forget, he loves 92 Lafite. Buy the most expensive 18-layer cake you can find. Then book a private banquet hall at a 5-star restaurant for us." Her arrogance made me laugh outright. She was living in luxury off money she had stolen from me, yet still expected me to act like her unpaid servant. What kind of fool did she think I was? I froze where I stood, staring at the mountains of empty wine bottles scattered across the floor. Inwardly, I offered a silent prayer for their souls. If my father ever found out that his prized wine collection, built up over countless years, had been drained dry by these people, I couldn't imagine the punishment they'd face. Tyler staggered over, drunk and smug, flanked by several classmates who looked just as displeased to see me. One of them sneered, "Emma, are you deaf? You're nothing but the maid's daughter. And Charlotte is your mistress. When she tells you to do something, you do it. Now get moving and bring us more alcohol. If you ruin Mr. Davis's birthday, Charlotte only has to say one word, and your mom won't even have a job scrubbing floors anymore. She'll be begging for scraps on the street." I noticed immediately that the $1 million watch I'd once given Tyler was gone. In its place gleamed a heavy gold one, a limited edition Rolls-Royce key fob dangled from his belt. No wonder they were calling him Mr. Davis now. Clearly, Charlotte had poured at least $8 million into him to build this facade of wealth. A bitter laugh escaped me. So, this was why Charlotte was so desperate to keep me under control. I answered coolly, sorry, my allowance is only $1,500 a month. I can't afford your luxuries. If you want to fire my mother, go ahead. She'll pack her bags tonight and leave the villa for good. I turned to walk away, but pain ripped through my scalp as someone yanked my hair back. Tyler's face loomed close, twisted with malice. How dare a servant's daughter talk back to her betters, he snarled. His eyes gleamed like poison blades. Back then, if you hadn't stolen Charlotte's identity, we wouldn't have been kept apart. Today, I'll make sure you pay for it. At his command, more than a dozen of his lackeys rushed me, pinning down my arms. Let me go. Are you all insane? I cried, thrashing against their grip. Tyler only smirked. Then his hand struck across my face once, twice, until the taste of blood filled my mouth. Someone has to discipline the servant, he jeered. The blows rained down, leaving me dazed. Through the haze, I saw Charlotte sipping wine leisurely, watching as if this were a stage play meant for her amusement. Emma, she drawled, you've been spoiled too long. I'll let Tyler straighten you out today. After this, you'll know who truly owns this villa. Half conscious, I shouted for the butler, but no one came. That was when I realized all the staff had been dismissed. My home had been stripped clean while I was away at boarding school. After nearly half an hour of beatings, Tyler finally slowed. His greedy gaze then fell on the diamond necklace around my neck. What's this? How does a maid's daughter own something like that? You must have stolen it, too, he accused, reaching eagerly for it. I jerked back, but he yanked at the chain until it cut into my skin. Let go. I shouted hoarsely. That necklace is all I have left of my mother. Tyler sneered and kicked me hard. Your mother's salary could never buy this. You probably snuck it from Charlotte when she wasn't looking. He stormed into the kitchen and came back with a fruit knife, intent on sawing it right off my neck. I clutched the necklace desperately. It was the last piece of my mother I had. I wouldn't, let it go. But just as the blade glinted near me, a sharp voice rang out from the doorway. What are you doing? Stop at once. I turned my head, blood trickling from my lip. Sarah, Charlotte's biological mother and our longtime housekeeper, had returned, but she was no longer dressed like a servant. Gold and silver jewelry glittered from her ears and wrists, making her look like a wealthy lady hosting a gala. Mom! Charlotte cried sweetly, rushing over to her. Tyler and the others scrambled to their feet, bowing respectfully. Hello, Mrs. Barnes. A cold laugh bubbled from my throat. I spat blood onto the floor and asked mockingly, Mrs. Barnes? Since when did my house gain a new lady of the house? My father had only been abroad for half a year, and already Sarah and Charlotte were parading around as if they owned everything. For the briefest moment, guilt flickered in Sarah's eyes when she saw my condition. But her expression hardened quickly. How dare a housekeeper's daughter act arrogant before me, she snapped. Then her gaze softened toward Charlotte. Charlotte, how many times have I told you not to lower yourself to her level? She's beneath you. Just throw her out already. Don't let her dirty our home. Gladly, Charlotte said with a bright smile. She gestured for the lackeys to drag me away. But before they could, she snatched the necklace Tyler had pulled off me and presented it proudly to Sarah. Mom, look what I recovered. Imagine if Emma had actually managed to keep this diamond necklace. To everyone's shock, Sarah's face went ashen the moment she saw it. She rushed over, shoved the necklace back into my hands, and hastily clasped it around my neck. What are you doing? She snapped at the others. Her voice shook as she added, this necklace is worthless plastic bought by the housekeeper just to make Emma look less pathetic. From now on, no one touches it. Do you understand? Her trembling tone only fueled my suspicion. Could the strange system binding me to Charlotte somehow be linked to this necklace? But Charlotte seemed completely unaware. The crowd, however, was quick to sneer. So, it's plastic, one girl said in disgust. I thought it was real, a boy muttered. What a fraud. She really is just a maid's daughter. How humiliating. Their scornful words pelted me as they shoved me out of my own villa. Bruised and staggering, I ripped the necklace off and sent a message to Marcus, begging him to return home immediately. Then, without hesitation, I went to a jewelry store and spent $3 million on an identical diamond necklace. The moment I replaced the old one with a real gem, a wave of energy surged through me. The weakness in my body vanished. The ache in my chest dissolved. Not wanting to alert Sarah and Charlotte, I masked my actions by posting daily photos of myself with the necklace on Instagram. They mocked me relentlessly online, calling it fake, but I kept posting day after day. Tyler eventually couldn't resist. He commented under one photo, "I can't stop laughing. Do you really have the nerve to show off a fake necklace every single day? Let me show you what real luxury looks like." Soon after, he uploaded a 5-minute video. Dressed in a custom-tailored suit, he knelt before Charlotte with a massive diamond ring in hand. "Charlotte, will you marry me?" he declared. She nodded shyly, surrounded by falling petals made not of flowers, but $100 bills. The display was obscene in its extravagance. Comments flooded in. A handsome, rich man proposing to the daughter of the richest family, a perfect couple. That ring is worth nearly $6 million. And look at the cash they're scattering. No wonder Tyler chose Charlotte. Emma's nothing but a clown flaunting a fake necklace. I scrolled through them calmly, unaffected. After all, I knew something they didn't. Refund frauds on purchases over $3,000 already counted as a crime. And Charlotte's refund record? Nearly $30 million. I couldn't wait to see her face when the walls finally closed in. Charlotte and Tyler remained blissfully unaware of everything happening in the background. They flaunted their happiness online without restraint, posting endless photos and vlogs from their lavish honeymoon. Charlotte gushed in her captions, "Thank you, Tyler, for finding your way to me through the crowd. These days, I feel nothing but blessed. I can walk the beaches of Bali with a man I love, chase the northern lights in the Arctic, or rent an entire cruise ship just to sunbathe in peace. I can stock my closet with rare Hermes collections and gift my fiancé a 3,000 square foot villa as our engagement present." Tyler responded with his own declaration, "When I met you, I finally understood what love really means. Charlotte, I'll cherish you for the rest of my life." Their classmates, who were stuck in lecture halls, could only stare in shock and envy. "Ugh, when will it be my turn to have a rich woman fall head over heels for me?" one sighed. "Watching this is torture." Another girl fanned herself dramatically. "That proposal was already extravagant, but their honeymoon is next level. I swear I need this kind of life in my next reincarnation." A third whispered, "Sure, Tyler is doing well, but compared to Charlotte Barnes, he's still a step behind. He's basically skipped 20 years of hard work by marrying her." It wasn't only the students who were jealous. The vlogs and proposal video quickly stirred up the internet, too. I had uploaded the proposal clip anonymously, and within hours it had gone viral. Some people gushed, others seethed, and a handful started digging deep into Charlotte and Tyler's personal lives. Soon their private details, social media accounts, shopping records, even student IDs were being shared all over. Charlotte's name was suddenly on the radar of merchants and luxury brands. I couldn't help but close my phone with a satisfied smile. The next day in class, I barely stepped through the door when waves of congratulations erupted around me. I froze, confused, until Charlotte turned with her usual air of entitlement. She stretched out her hand toward me and said, "Emma, you must have seen the news about Tyler and me. We're tying the knot soon. The class has already given us gifts, but you're the only one who hasn't. I know your family isn't well off, so I don't expect anything extravagant, but you should at least show some effort." Her eyes gleamed with calculation. She knew I'd been spending a lot on luxury items lately, and this was her excuse to squeeze something out of me. The grand proposal Tyler staged couldn't have been funded by him alone. No doubt Charlotte had spent heavily behind the scenes, and now she was eager to recover some of those expenses. But that so-called trading system she relied on had already been destroyed. I wasn't going to let her use me again. From my bag, I pulled out the half-eaten hamburger I'd bought that morning and dropped it into her hand. "Congratulations," I said flatly. "This is all I can give." I sat down at my desk, ignoring the whispers. Charlotte's smile cracked. Grinding her teeth, she snapped, "Emma, how can you be so shameless? Everyone knows you're just the housekeeper's daughter. I'm offering you a chance to make peace. If you give me something worthwhile, I won't expose the fact that you once impersonated me. Do that and our classmates won't treat you badly." She snatched my backpack, rummaging through it without permission. "Didn't you just buy a new phone? I heard the latest model is out. Just hand me that one." The others jumped in to scold me. One girl said, "My family isn't rich either, but when Charlotte treated us all to a 5-star dinner, I saved for a month just to buy her a $3,000 gift. And you? You have new things, but all you give her is a hamburger. That's ridiculous." A boy added, "Exactly. Your mom worked as a maid in Charlotte's house for years. The least you could do is show some gratitude." Another chimed in, "She's even giving you a chance to fix your reputation, but you're too stubborn to accept. You really are hopeless." Looking at their faces, all desperate to please Charlotte, I couldn't hold back a laugh. "If you want to flatter her, then own it," I said coldly. "Don't try to drag me into it by playing the morality card." But just as the words left my mouth, hurried footsteps thundered toward us. A furious voice rang out. "Emma, you bitch. What did you do this time?" Sarah came storming at me with fury in her eyes. Her anger made sense. After all, I had convinced Marcus to send bodyguards to drive her out of the villa, and I had exposed her shady deeds to the wealthy circles. Now, her reputation was ruined, and no one dared to hire her again. Even so, she didn't have the courage to confront me directly. Marcus had instructed her before leaving for abroad to take good care of me. So, she clung to that excuse, parading around as though she were my guardian. She made me cook, scrub dishes, mop floors, and learn every chore imaginable. I had tolerated her long enough. Eventually, to keep my sanity, I moved into the school dorms instead of staying in the villa. Perhaps my past compliance gave her the illusion that I was still weak. She rushed forward, arm raised, aiming to slap me. I shoved her back sharply. "So early in the morning and already in a rage, Mrs. Barnes," I said icily. "Tell me, what did a maid's daughter like me do to offend you?" She staggered back, falling to the ground with a cry, clutching her waist as if she had been gravely injured. Charlotte immediately ran to her side, glaring daggers at me. "Emma, are you begging for death? How dare you lay a hand on my mother?" Tyler arrived not long after, fists clenched. This girl really needs a beating. The three of them, along with a handful of classmates, charged at me. Shoves turned to punches, kicks rained down. Chaos erupted. But they forgot, this wasn't my family's villa anymore. We were on school grounds. Within minutes, campus security burst in, dragging us apart. Face swollen, I let tears pool in my eyes and played the part of the victim. My voice trembled as I pointed at Charlotte and her lackeys. Just because my family is poor and I can't afford expensive gifts for Miss Barnes, they humiliated me in public, searched my bag, demanded money, and beat me. Is that how students should act? They're not classmates, they're thugs. Tell me, just because I'm a maid's daughter, do I deserve to be treated like this? The guards stiffened, their expressions softening. Coming from modest families themselves, they clearly sympathized. They turned on Charlotte's group and warned them in stern voices. Touch her again and we'll call the police. But Charlotte and Tyler only sneered. Go ahead, call them, Charlotte said arrogantly. She held out her wrist. One pair of my shoes costs more than your yearly salary. This watch alone could buy an apartment downtown. You think I'm scared of the police? Please, the spare change in my wallet could buy both your lives. She smirked, adding mockingly, oh no, I'm so terrified. Their shameless arrogance almost made me laugh. Ignoring Sarah's pale, nervous face beside them, I calmly took out my phone and dialed the police myself. They're the ones daring me to call, I said coolly, then ended the call and sat down waiting. Around us, classmates broke into mocking laughter. They pointed at me like I was a fool who didn't know her place. One boy jeered, Emma, are you stupid? Don't you know Charlotte's father is the richest man in New York? Even if the police come, all Charlotte needs is one phone call, and she can crush you like an ant. Another girl chimed in, exactly, Charlotte, don't let this ruin your engagement mood. Call your dad right now and have him deal with this bitch properly. Charlotte, basking in their cheers, smiled smugly and lifted her phone. She quickly dialed a number. When the line connected, a familiar voice spoke on the other end. Hello, who's calling? Marcus's distant tone filled the air. Sarah's face drained of color. She lunged, trying to cover Charlotte's mouth, but Charlotte brushed her off and chirped sweetly into the phone. Daddy, it's Charlotte. Why haven't you come home yet? I'm being bullied by that illegitimate daughter, Emma. Aren't you going to do something about it? My blood ran cold. Illegitimate daughter, was that me? I froze, eyes wide, as Charlotte's words echoed through the room. Gasps rippled around us, and several students looked as if the ground had been pulled from beneath them. One girl blurted out, wait, what? Emma isn't just the maid's daughter. She's also Charlotte's dad's secret child. This is unreal. The crowd buzzed with disbelief, staring between me, Charlotte, and Sarah. Charlotte tilted her chin proudly as though she had orchestrated the whole spectacle. With exaggerated patience, she began to clarify the story. That's right, she declared. Emma is my father's illegitimate daughter. Her mother shamelessly seduced him, stole the title of wife, and then gave birth to her. I was willing to tolerate Emma if she stayed in her place as a servant, but she's been ungrateful. She needs to be taught a lesson. Dad, please come back and deal with this for me. On the other end of the line, Marcus's silence burned hotter than any words. He ended the call without saying a thing. Charlotte, however, mistook his reaction as silent support. She puffed up proudly and sneered at me. See? He's on his way back right now. Just wait, Emma. Your time is up. Her threats dripped with arrogance, but she didn't notice Sarah's face crumpling in panic beside her. Enough, Charlotte. Sarah suddenly rose, clutching her side, and tried to drag her daughter away. You need to come with me right now. Why? Charlotte resisted, frowning. Dad's coming home. The police will be here soon, and Emma will finally get what she deserves. Why should we leave? Sarah's eyes welled with desperate tears. Just do as I say. We have to go now. Watching their clashing emotions, a suspicion that had been gnawing at me finally pieced itself together. Since my mother's death, Marcus had never remarried or allowed another woman into his life. Later, Sarah joined our household as a housekeeper, bringing Charlotte along. Marcus only treated them kindly because Charlotte was still a child and happened to share the Barnes name. He asked her to get along with me and looked after them both as a matter of responsibility. But over time, Charlotte twisted that kindness into a fantasy, convincing herself she was his real daughter. And Sarah, she wasn't innocent either. Every year, when Marcus traveled abroad to honor my mother's memory, Sarah schemed to strip me of everything I owned, intending to finish me off once I was weak enough. Then when Marcus returned, she planned to slide into his life as his wife. It was a dangerous plan, one that even included murder. Afraid that Charlotte would spill the truth, Sarah kept her daughter in the dark about the necklace laced with misfortune. The system's power would have slowly drained my health until I withered away within weeks, leaving behind no trace of foul play. But this time, I was prepared. I had already destroyed that cursed necklace and started reclaiming my life. Before Charlotte and Sarah could argue further, the police arrived. Still believing she had the upper hand, Charlotte crossed her arms and barked orders at them. Finally, you're here. Arrest Emma immediately. If you don't want my father to hold you accountable, then hurry. She never got to finish. Cold metal clicked around her wrists as the officers snapped handcuffs into place. Charlotte Barnes, one officer stated firmly, you're under arrest for large-scale online fraud. You'll be taken into custody according to the law. Sarah's cry hung in the air, stunned and thin. Charlotte and Sarah both looked as if the floor had dropped away beneath them, and Tyler stood frozen, unsure what to do next. Tyler stammered, this must be a mistake, right? Charlotte would never do anything like that. Charlotte, incredulous, shouted, I am the daughter of the richest man. Why would I risk online fraud? You have the wrong person. The officers, however, were unshaken. They produced stacks of merchant reports and Charlotte's account statements, and one of them spoke plainly. Miss Barnes, these records show repeated refund-only requests tied to your account. The total alleged loss approaches $30 million. You are under arrest. Charlotte and Sarah spun to look at me, faces contorted with fury. Charlotte howled, Emma, did you set this up? Are you insane? How dare you frame us? I kept a look of innocent bewilderment, forcing down a smile that wanted to break into laughter. I replied with mock confusion. Frame you? How could a housekeeper's daughter possibly buy $30 million of goods, then return them all? I have never seen so much luxury in my life. Who would believe I did this? Sarah bit her lip and said nothing while Charlotte cursed, if not you, then who? You used to steal my things. You pretended to be me. You must have used my account to set this up. I spread my hands and goaded her. Where's the proof that I touched your accounts? Do you have any evidence? Furious and cornered, Charlotte turned on the police, shrieking, arrest her now, you idiots. Why are you handcuffing me? If my father hears about this, you'll regret it. That arrogance changed the officers' expressions. One of them answered evenly. No matter who your father is, the law applies to everyone. If there is a mistake, we will investigate. For now, you're suspected of large-scale online fraud. Come with us. They cuffed Charlotte, and despite her screams and struggles, there was no escape. Sarah was taken as well, sobbing as they led her to the squad car. Before the doors closed, she hissed at me, intonation only for my ears, you think you figured this out and trapped us? You're foolish. Even if we fall now, I will control your life later. Fail us to fix this, have your father support us, or I will make sure you die painfully. I looked at her as if she were ridiculous. I reached into my pocket and produced the fake diamond necklace, holding it up casually. Mrs. Barnes, when you talk about controlling me, is this what you mean? I said. I figured it out long ago. My constant posting of this necklace was to bait you, to let you think you had power. You really believed I wouldn't notice. How naive. I smiled and Sarah's face went white. She began to scream, but the officers pushed her into the car and shut the door. Around us, some students looked frightened. Others watched with greedy satisfaction at my triumph. Tyler lunged at me, fists raised, spitting curses. You bitch. Even if you got Charlotte locked up, her father will fix this. I'll kill you to avenge her. He swung. Marcus arrived at that exact moment, his hand grabbing Tyler's wrist with unmistakable authority. Behind him stood several trained bodyguards, expressions cold and controlled. Marcus's voice cut through the chaos, steady and icy. Whoever touches my daughter will answer to me. Marcus's arrival silenced the entire courtyard. His presence was so commanding that no one dared move, though Tyler still spat curses. Who the hell do you think you are? I've beaten Emma plenty of times before. Do you really believe you alone can shield that worthless girl? His arrogance earned him immediate punishment. Marcus slammed him to the ground with a single blow, leaving Tyler sprawled and groaning, unable to stand. The other students, who moments earlier had looked eager to seek justice, froze in terror at the sight of the bodyguards encircling them. Marcus's fury only grew darker. Trembling with rage, he ground his heel into Tyler's fingers and demanded, "I am Marcus Barnes. Tell me, how many times did you lay a hand on my daughter while I was away?" The name hit the crowd like thunder. Marcus Barnes, the CEO of Barnes Group, a girl gasped, staring at him as if he had stepped out of a news article. Another whispered, confused, "But why is he saying Emma is his daughter?" A boy muttered, "Didn't Charlotte claim Emma was his illegitimate child? That must be it." Someone else scoffed, "Imagine protecting a maid's daughter while ignoring your own blood. How ridiculous." The gossiping voices only fanned Marcus's rage. His roar cut through the chatter. Silence. "I, Marcus Barnes, have only one biological daughter, and that is Emma. Charlotte is nothing but the housekeeper's child. Spread these lies again, and you'll answer in court." He hurled down a thick file of evidence, paternity tests, birth certificates, and detailed documents revealing Charlotte's real background. No one could argue. No one dared. The students looked at the pile of proof, their faces paling as the truth sank in. One boy muttered regretfully, "So it was all a scheme by Charlotte and her mother. All this time we wronged Emma." Shame weighed on them, and they couldn't even meet my eyes. Tyler, still clutching his head, let out a strangled cry. "No, this can't be. Emma, if I had known you were Mr. Barnes's daughter, would never have left you. I could have married you. Please, just forgive me. Please." His begging only revealed the truth. He didn't regret hurting me, he regretted losing what he thought he could have gained. Marcus didn't waste another second on him. With a curt wave, he ordered his bodyguards to drag Tyler to the police. He had stolen too much of Marcus's rare wine collection, and now he would pay for it. Justice came swiftly. Unable to repay the $30 million in damages, Charlotte and Sarah were sentenced to more than 10 years in prison. Tyler, shattered by the reality he refused to accept, descended into madness. As for the classmates who once bullied me, Marcus made sure the school issued severe punishments, stripping them of their pride and standing. And me? For the first time in years, I stood unburdened, ready to claim the bright, unshakable life that had always been mine.